Here we are today in the Villages of Florida. We rented another bike today. I was actually yesterday. The bike company, yesterday I had a problem with that other bike. They ended up giving me this bike, and this one rode out perfect. No complaints about it. And I know they probably feel awful, but no hard feelings. I got to ride, like I said, one more bike, so good for me. This is a Momentum. It's a bike that's from Giant. So this is my my last review for this week in the Villages. So this is a Momentum. It is a Momentum Lafree. It's a rental bike. It's a mid-drive motor, so you got a Yamaha motor in it. So you gotta work at this one. So it's got a torque sensor in it. This is I guess what they call a hybrid bike. So it's basically a regular bicycle that they put this mid-drive motor on, put the battery on a rack on the back. So it's basically a converted bike. It's got like 2-inch tires on it, but the rims would take a 1-inch tire, which I find kind of odd, but I guess if you want to slim it up, you can. To me, nothing fancy about this bike as far as the looks. I think it's pretty ugly and tanky looking myself, but whatever. It rides out good. It rides, you've got to do the work on these bikes for the most part, but it was a good ride bike. Got hydraulic brakes on it. I did try to look at the pricing on it, and it appears it has a list of around $2,500, but it also looks like you can probably buy them around $1,250 to $1,500-ish, something like that, I guess, depending on the way it's outfitted. I was riding upright. Would it make a good bike for a senior? Probably, but it's a pretty high step over. To me, that's, I don't know, you're looking at, I bet you're looking at 18 inches. I mean, I don't know offhand, but I'm just guessing. Like I said, hydraulic brakes. Again, nothing really fancy about this bike. It does the job. So it's a Momentum, but Momentum is a bike that Giant bikes made. I think it's probably a lower end for them or something, and it's decent. And I think if it's for around $1,200, it's probably a good bike. It's got good components on it. The derailleur is an Atlas, which is an upgrade. It's got the speed shifter on it. It can have a speed shifter on it because there's no throttle on this bike. There's no thumb throttle. There's no twist throttle or anything. This is a true Class 1 bike. I'm sure it's classified as a Class 2 or 3 though, just because of the speed. But it is a Class 1 because there is no throttle on this bike. I don't like bikes without throttle at all, but that's me. If you like bikes like this, it's a good bike for the money. Personal opinion, but like I said, to me it looks like a tank. But it's a rental bike, so it's probably perfect for them. Thing's solid. Drives relatively quiet. The motor's got a little bit of a whir to it, tiny bit. Not anything like a hub motor, so it's not even worth complaining about. I've never seen. I have seen them online, but I've never seen the brakes in a position like this. But the Technos, again, it's higher end stuff. It's supposed to be a higher end bike. I mean, it was described to me as a higher end bike when I was renting it. The the funny thing is when I called this company to rent the bike, they told me they had this bike, and I said I don't want it because it was not because it was a mid-drive. I didn't want it because it didn't have a throttle on it. So I rented another bike that turned into a disaster. It was a batch bike, and it had never been ridden. Anyways, it's a totally different story. But they ended up they made good. I brought the other one back. They gave me this bike, and hey, I got to review one more bike, so it's a win-win for me. Like I said, if this thing is $1,200, it's probably a decent bike, so I don't have anything bad to say about it. If you want to pedal, so I tend to be a little bit more lazy, and I want a hub drive. I mean, I have a mid-drive at home. I use it on the trail. I mean, these things are great on the trail. If you're going to trail ride all the time, mid-drive's the way to go. So in one way I'm saying I don't like mid-drives, but I like them on the trail. Super controllable, much more bike feeling. You feel like you're riding a bike. I went out this morning for about an hour. The battery's depleted on it, but it was only a little over half full when I got it. So I probably would have rode a little bit longer, but that option wasn't there. So I went out, and my legs know I went out and pedaled this thing, I'll tell you right now, because you have to put in a little bit more effort. And I rode it pretty high too on the power assist. I rode this thing at 4 to 5, which is the 5 is the tops. And when I got tired up, well, I actually knocked it up to 5 to see what this thing could do. So just because you put it in 5 doesn't mean you go speeding down the road. You actually have to put the effort in. When you put the effort in, I got up to about 20 miles an hour with it, and then I could feel it cutting out. So I know it's a class 2 for this thing to be cutting out at 20 miles an hour instead of 28. So like I said, technically it's a class 1 because it doesn't have a throttle, but it's a class 2 because the speed is at 20. So I guess that's about all I got to say about this. Like I said, if this is what you're into, decent bike, but I don't know. Nothing, like I said, nothing bad to say about it. So if this is what you want, it's a great bike. I give it the seal of approval. Definitely a bike feeling ride. I don't even feel like I'm on a electric bike. I mean, it's definitely giving me some assistance. I'm actually gonna turn it off. You know what? Okay, it assists. The noise is the motor, because with the motor off, it's quiet. So this is an 8-speed. So it's mid-drive, and I can tell that it does have a lockout on the shift. How you doing? America's friendliest hometown, guys. So, if you were somebody that was, wanted a real bike feel, and I know everybody when they go out to buy a bike wants that real bike feel, but something you really need to think about as you're making a big investment, and if all of a sudden you decide, hey, I wanted more assist or whatever, well, you can try to go back and trade it in, but these mid-drives are definitely a more bikey feel, and I know that's why the real biker guys out there, they like these mid-drives. And this is supposed to be a higher end bike, and their target audience is the people that are transitioning from bikes to e-bikes. So I get why they do it, and I don't mind a a mid-drive torque sensor bike, not a Canon sensor. These mid-drives are always torque sensors. This is, for all intents and purposes, I guess a hybrid type bike. It's kind of more bikey than it is an e-bike. These just trying to negotiate. I got people walking here and their cars coming. Morning. Yeah, I mean, this is no suspension. I mean, this one I don't have anything bad to say about it, I guess, other than that I don't want to make the effort and pedal this hard. It's a decent bike. If you can buy this bike for $1,200 to $1,500, it's probably a pretty good deal. I mean, I think it's a pretty solid bike. Certainly looks like a battleship. This thing, I've got 4 little white LED dots, and then the battery is 3 LED dots. I'm sure they're. So this thing can get going. You know, the thing with these, so this thing's going along pretty good. I'm probably 20 miles an hour right now. I got it all the way up in the pedal assist 5, 8th gear. And you got to pedal to make it move. So the more I pedal, the more effort I put into pedaling, the more speed I get out of it. Like I said, this is a torque sensor. It senses the amount of effort that you're willing to put in, and it gives you back, you know, in pedal assist 5, it's probably giving you back what you're putting into it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how big this motor is. I don't think they do. I mean, this one I don't have anything bad to say about it, I guess, other than that I don't want to make the effort and pedal this hard. It's a decent bike. If you can buy this bike for $1,200 to $1,500, it's probably a pretty good deal. I mean, I think it's a pretty solid bike. Certainly looks like a battleship.